I remember always having this dream of being lean, being fit, having a nice body. And I remember all those years where I've pretty much tried everything to be able to lose weight. And I end up eating 7,000 calories a day. And I'm doing this video today to explain to you why I did it, what happened to me, and why I think you should maybe do it as well. Hello, my name is Haidar, and today I want to share with you my story to overcome my eating disorder. As you can probably hear it, I'm not a native English speaking person. I'm from Switzerland and have been talking French most of my life. So please forgive me if I do some mistakes with my English, but don't hesitate to correct me or give me some feedback in the comment section. I have to say I'm quite excited to enter on this new big adventure here, and I hope you are too. So my weight loss journey started in a very classical way. When I was a teenager, I was a bit overweight and I started to feel bad in my body. I started to feel like self-confidence problems and self-doubt. And I started to think something have to change. I have to lose weight and I should be able to control the way I eat, the amount I eat, and how I do. So I started pretty much binge watching video about like coaches and stuff on YouTube about how to create a deficit caloric, how to go through our macro, go through all the classic strategy to lose weight. And I have to say that at the beginning, it was so exciting because I started to put those things on place and it was working pretty well. Like I was going through that and it was just like seeing the result very quickly on my body. And it just made me feel so proud and motivated. That's what I now call the honeymoon of dieting. It's because I just started to feel that I was doing something for myself and I was seeing the result. And that just gave me even more motivation and what we like to call self-discipline. And I started to take it very seriously. The more I was going through that, I started to make it seriously and I started to be very intensely engaged on that process. So I started to I've started to learn exactly how to create a caloric deficit and to use all those apps where I was like weighting my food and making all the maths and numbers for my macro as I was going to the gym 5-6 times a week. And I pretty much few months after I really decided to take the control of my body and obtain that image, that body that I really wanted. You know, I wanted to see my abs and all those things. And few months after that, I remember looking at the mirror and being like, wow, I did it. Like, I mostly did it. Like, I would like to still lose some more weight. You know, that thing you always want to lose more weight. But I was like, I think I've done it. And I think this image I'm seeing on the mirror is exactly the dream body I had for so long. And I felt proud of myself for few seconds. And then I was like, shit. And what now? What's gonna happen to me now? Because that's when I started to realize I'm stuck. I'm stuck and I'm in a very bad position. Everyone outside is congratulating me and telling me, oh, wow, that's great. That's impressive. That's that and that and this. But deep inside, I knew something was wrong. And that thing is, the reason I started dieting and the reason I started to go into all those habits and self discipline and all those things is because deep down, I was feeling bad about myself. Pretty much, I was in a very trigger. I had like a breakup, and I think I was pretty much feeling unsafe about my own value. I didn't love myself. I didn't like who I was. And I wanted to change my body so I could love myself. But when I did so, I just realized that I was completely wrong. It wasn't the right way. Why? Because my body has changed. The image on the mirror is different. But my feeling of not be worthy, not being lovable, didn't change. I have to say, was even worse. It was worse because I put my self-confidence and I put my self-love under a conditional pact or contract with myself. I will love myself if I lose weight. I will be worthy if I am fit and lean. But that's not love. That's condition. That's judgment. That's fear. And the problem started to appear. Because, I was following my dieting every day, every week, all the time. But I had this cheat meal that at the beginning was very cool. I was like, oh, it's fine because if I feel to eat things that I want to eat, I could just wait till Friday evening. And Friday evening, I have my cheat meal. So I will be able to eat that. And that's cool. That create like sort of balance. I was really thinking that it was balanced to think this way. It's so toxic. I can see it now. But I mean, that's how I was thinking at this time. And maybe that's the way you are or the way you were. And week after week, those cheat meals just became bigger and bigger. And those cheat meals become cheat days. Because when I was going to the supermarket to buy those food, I couldn't even wait till to go back home to start eating them. And of course, what I wanted to eat was all those, what I was calling junk food, all those like chocolate, all those ultra processed food that I was restricting myself from, that I was like telling myself they are so bad, but I couldn't control myself. I had to eat them and again. And after a month, I was at a point where pretty much after those cheat meal, I couldn't breathe well. I couldn't even move because I was so full. And even when I was so full, I still wanted to keep eating. And I started to think, maybe that's not normal. Maybe there is something wrong. It's going too far. But I was trapped because if I wasn't following my dieting just even a little bit, if I was just like, on the week, if I was just overeating an apple or anything like this, I was seeing it on my scale the day after. And I was feeling so anxious about it. I was feeling so nervous and afraid of gaining weight again. And I could see that my body wanted to gain weight because it was trying to make me eat more. And that's when I realized I'm trapped because I was in a completely conflictual war with my body. And that's when the shift happened. I think there is something a bit magic with YouTube algorithm. But when I was on this situation, I started to see popping on my feed on YouTube a video talking about like what they called the anti-diet approach, intuitive eating, stuff like this. And I very much remember the first time I started to seeing those videos, and I thought to myself, what a crazy idea. What is wrong with those people? How could they think that you can eat whatever you want? If you eat whatever you want, you're just going to become obese, and that's all that's going to happen. They're just crazy. And I remember be judging and resisting against those ideas. But at the same time, something deep inside me knew there was something true on that. And the more I was going back to dieting, the more I was listening to those coaches and those people who sell those diets, the more I was realizing that I was in a complete war between my mental, my like ego, and my body, my poor body that pretty much I know now was just like trying to survive, trying to stay alive when my stupid ego was trying to lose weight again and again. And so one day I just got to the supermarket. It was the week. So I was supposed to follow my diet and my meal plans and stuff. And I remember thinking, fuck it. Just fuck it. I can't keep living like this. I hate myself even more. And everyone think I'm good, but I'm not. And I don't feel free. I don't feel happy. I was feeling cold. I was feeling depressed all the time. So I decided, I remember it was like one of like those big cookies, like a massive cookie. And I just decided, you know what? I'm going to buy it and I'm going to eat it out of my diet plan. And when I did so, first, I remember the taste. It was so good. It was just so delicious. And I thought, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm not quite sure, but something feels right about it. So day after day, I started to stop controlling my meals and my food and pretty much to give up on the body, to give up on the dream, to give up on my diet, to give up on self-discipline, and even to give up on going to the gym. I pretty much felt so tired all the time that I could barely go to work. I just felt so hungry that I was eating those donuts. I started with one donut, but most of the day I was eating 10, 12, 13 donuts a day, plus my meals. I was pretty much eating and resting all the time. And maybe you're listening to that and saying it's crazy. And I thought it was crazy. I was like, it's crazy. But it just felt something is right. And at the same time, I was so afraid. I was like freaking out. I was like, I'm gonna gain all the weight that I've lost. And you know what happened? It happened. I gained the weight back. I gained like 15. Yes, 15. I'm just, I have to translate in life. 15 kilo back. And it wasn't funny. Like I was feeling bloated. It was my digestion, my body. I was feeling like so bad in my body. And seeing that on the mirror was terrible. Because it was like, I felt. But at the same time, I felt such a relief. Like, it felt so good because I was like, okay, first, I'm not fighting anymore. I'm out of this circus of restricting and binge eating and restricting and binge eating. I'm out of it. I'm not fighting my body anymore. And I can just relax, rest, eat. And it felt healing. But most of the physical part, because I felt that I was less depressed and that's the energy that I've lost was coming back. I felt the quality of my skin, of my hair, of my nails. I felt my metabolism starting again, coming back, my libido to come back. Like I was just back to life, even if it was scary and the image on the mirror was terrible. I felt that. But more of this, I discovered that self-love and self-acceptance was never about being lean or being fit or having that dream body. It was about giving myself the permission to be whatever I will be, to pretty much discover that loving myself was not I need to be fit, but loving myself was I can love myself in any circumstances. I don't need to control the circumstances. I can just love myself. And I discovered that loving myself doesn't require anything outside of me. And that was the big relief. That was such a beautiful thing. And when I did that, I could start to have again, because when you're dieting and on all those eating disorder, you're just obsessed with food. You're obsessed, what am I gonna eat, when am I gonna eat, how am I gonna do, how am I gonna, you're just always thinking of it. So you don't have any energy or any space on your mind. It's all about that. It's just like a constant obsession. But when I did go out of this space, I started to have mental still and space, and I've been able to ask the right question. Who am I? What I want from life? What I want from work? What I want from my relation? What are the important value? How do I take care of my body? How do I respect it? And how do I go through a healthy relation with myself? And that have been my story those last years of working on myself. And I have to say that what ended up happened is gaining weight and then being plateau for a few months and then starting losing weight again, but in a radically different way, because on this way I was just pretty much listening to my body and just loving myself unconditionally and just starting to go back to gym because I wanted to give that to my body. It wasn't a punition. It wasn't something I needed to do. It was just a new way to look at how I'm dealing with my needs and my limits and myself. And that did change everything. So the problem wasn't the meal I was eating or the gym I was going or the thing I was doing. The problem was my mindset about them and the fact that I was doing all of this in energy, in a frequency of fear. My identity was I need something, but I didn't need anything. And I did spend the last 7-8 years to teach that to people, to help people going through the same process that I did, that I've called food pacification. It doesn't really make sense in English, but in French it does, because it is in French. And I think I just wanted to tell you, if you do recognize yourself on what I'm speaking about on this video, maybe you should think, am I on the right path? Is it the right thing for me to being always careful about what I eat? Or is there something more, something deeper that need to be seen, welcomed, and worked on? And if that talk to you, like if it makes sense for you, please leave me a comment. That's the first video of the YouTube. Let me a comment. Tell me what you think. If you have any question, I will answer with pleasure. And I guess I see you on the next episode. Thank you for your attention. Bye.